Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, maybe. Thank you so much for your visit this afternoon for me here in Lima, Peru. Welcome, welcome to Lima. Hello, hola Adrian. Thanks for coming. Muchas gracias. It is a pleasure to have you in this day to show you today one of the many museums we have in Lima. I have started this tour a little bit earlier just to first say hi to you all, welcome you all, maybe answer a little bit of questions if you have some from the beginning of this event, and also to have the idea to share with you a little bit about the house before officially starting this video that I'm going to be playing and also translating and sharing with you part of my speech as a tour guide in this museum in the CASA ALIAGA. So we're going to have the chance of seeing a documentary which is in Spanish, but I'm going to be using this documentary made for this house to give you an idea of what you can see, what you can experience inside this museum. Hello, hola amigos, hola Bernhard, hello Adrian. Hi, thank you so much for visiting. Gracias amigo, thanks Bernhard, thank you so much for visiting Lima again. And as you know, well, I am trying to do all kinds of different experiences from my home sometimes and sometimes outside in the streets as a, let's say, a regular tour guide would do. By the way, I am a tour guide. I am a professional tour guide, official tour guide in my city. I've been guiding for over 15 years in Lima, different destinations within the city and also outside the city within my country, Peru. So my specialty is colonial history, pre-Hispanic history as well. I love to explain all of the events that happened before the coming of the conquistadors and also how the conquest affected and also changed the way how Peruvians, how indigenous people saw the world. But also it is fascinating to see that although we were receiving a new culture, a new tradition also imposed, we were able to keep a little bit of our own selves, our own originality, in disguise also with a Catholic, let's say, facade, right? So this is pretty much the idea of showing you museums, for example, like the one we're going to be seeing today. And all your questions are welcome. Hola, hola, Mary. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for coming from Toronto, Canada. You might be, like, the time zone might be similar to here in Lima. By the way, we're going to be starting the tour in about 2 minutes, and that's going to be for us in Lima, 4:30 p.m. So we are GMT -5. We don't change time zone, never, because we're very close to the equator line, so we don't need to save time or electricity. So it is quite easy to be here in this part of the world in terms of the time. It gets dark at about 6 p.m. all year round almost. So 5:28 p.m. Yes, Mary, so you are just 1 hour ahead of me. 11:30 p.m. here. Oh, Bernhard, yes, that's right, you're in Europe. So yes, of course, many hours ahead, but still thank you so much for visiting Lima, and thanks for coming to see this, be part of this series. By the way, my dear friends, if you are new to my channel, if you are new to my tours, thank you so much for visiting. My name is Vanessa. I was saying that I am an official tour guide. I am a licensed tour guide here in Peru. In Peru, we take very serious guiding. You need to be a formal professional tour guide to become one here. So in Peru, we take tourism serious because it's the third most important activity of the country after mining and fishing. So that's why tourism is also so special, like here in Peru. We take everything about tourism serious, and the museums we have in Peru are fascinating. We have all kinds of museums for all kinds of tastes. So in this series of events from home that I'm trying to do for you all, especially for my Hego Voyagers, I am trying to bring to you museums within my city, maybe later museums within my country, Peru, that unfortunately are not really like ready for virtual tourism. I mean, virtual tourism is new for the world. And not every museum is ready to permit a guide with a gimbal inside, right? So I've been trying to make my way into museums for the last couple of years, since 2020, when the pandemic appeared and I became a virtual tour guide. And most of the times, museums were not really ready for this. But that's okay. That's okay. It's completely understandable. So after a couple of, let's say, trials, I decided to do something different in this series that I'm doing from home. Because although many museums are not ready for receiving virtual tours inside, many museums are very happy to share with you on YouTube, for example, some introductory videos about what they have inside, right? Sometimes in Facebook, sometimes in YouTube. And also some of these videos are documentaries very, very nicely made. Most of the times for Peruvian television, for national television in my country. So what I wanted to do with this series from home is to use these beautiful documentaries that I can see, I can share like freely open on YouTube, but they are in Spanish, right? So my intention is translating a little bit of the whole core of these documentaries and making you feel as if you were inside these museums with me for a moment. By no means I am trying to replace the experience of being inside those museums. It is impossible. Those museums are great, right? But I want you to have the feeling of how it is to go inside. Maybe if you ever come to Lima in person, visiting those museums. Most people have the impression that Peru is Cusco and Machu Picchu, and that's it. And my friends, that's not the truth. We have amazing cities in Peru. Lima is one of those. And my intention is sharing with you the beauty of my city, using all kinds of methods possible. So this series of from home events dedicated to museums are really sort of like experimental. Please be very honest at the end if you like them. I started last week with Larco Museum. If you miss it, no worries. I'm going to be bringing it again with an official video that the museum recorded for their Facebook. So now I want to share with you, now we're going to the event. I want to share with you one of the most important colonial houses we have in Lima. This house is called CASA ALIAGA. And also during this event, during this short tour, I meant it to be 30 minutes approximately, I will share also their official website, so you can also dive in and learn a little bit more about the house if you haven't heard about it. And also I will be sharing some pictures and things that can help you to understand better the value of this place, right? I am using also a video that is open, is free in YouTube, from a Peruvian national channel, channel number 7, and I will be translating it. I will not put play on the volume of the documentary, on the audio, because it's all in Spanish. And I want you to understand the details, so I will be telling you as if you were with me inside the house and share with you the highlights of the house, okay? So, well, I hope you like this series. And if you have questions, please share your questions here in the chat zone. Remember, this is pretty much an experiment, and I hope you like the idea of getting inside museums that don't permit virtual tours inside. This series is for museums that are not allowing virtual tours inside, but they are very happy to share with documentaries, with YouTube, also videos, a little bit of what they have in, okay? So I hope you are ready. See, let's start with this event, and thanks a lot also for your participation. I will turn off the light here, so in that way you will have a better view of this documentary. And also you will be able to see the name of the documentary right now. The channel is channel 7, Peruvian channel. Museos Puertas Abiertas is the name of the program, the TV program that made this special documentary. And in Spanish, Casa de Aliaga, or Aliaga House. Okay, so we are going to start with this tour. And my friends, Casa Aliaga is located not far away from the main square of Lima, just half a block away. Notice that when we get inside houses like this one, and this entrance, by the way, is magnificent because you have here a typical colonial house with an entrance that is huge, and there is a reason for that. The doorways are huge because in the colonial times, the houses of the rich people had to allow in carriages with horses. So that's why those houses were so tall. Something very special about this house is that it was built by a conquistador. Not far away from the house of the President of Peru, Palacio de Gobierno, in the colonial times, a man called Jerónimo de Aliaga y Ramírez, a friend of Francisco Pizarro, conquistador Francisco Pizarro, was given by the very conquistador Pizarro a piece of land not far away from his own home. So just next to the house of Pizarro, Mr. Jerónimo de Aliaga was able to build a home. And let me also share with you something really interesting over here. First of all, here you have a painting from the 19th century that depicts the moment when Pizarro, Francisco Pizarro, founded Lima, right? So Lima was an Incan city when the Spaniards came. Hola, Marilu. Hello, hello. So the city where I live, especially the main square of my city, the Plaza Mayor, seems that it was originally an Incan plaza. And here you can see also in this section, where nowadays is the main square, a triangular plaza, where on one side used to be located the Palace of Taulichusco. Taulichusco was the Incan leader, indigenous leader of the city and the part of the valley where the Spanish, led by Francisco Pizarro, established, founded their city. So here we can see, and I will try to do a little zoom over here, so maybe it will give you a better understanding of what I'm trying to show you. So you can see here the Palace of Taulichusco, made on adobe, on mud bricks, because in Lima never rains, so the pre-Hispanic people used to build in adobe. And over here, for example, we have a temple dedicated to the Puma Inti, where the first cathedral of Lima was built by the very conquistador Pizarro. So Pizarro was trying to evangelize this territory, this land, by replacing the Incan temple with a church. But why I'm doing a zoom on here and stopping the video, the documentary, is because in this section, in this part of the Palace of Taulichusco, there used to be also, well, an extension of this house, or part of the residence of the leader, the Incan leader. That was the land that Pizarro gave to his friend Jerónimo de Aliaga y Ramírez. person who built in that place, this is the gentleman, Jerónimo de Aliaga, his house. So what is the special part about this house? Well, first of all, it is the only house in the Americas that is still occupied by the descendants of the conquistador who built the house. Please try to think in an example in the Americas, especially the Americas, the Hispanic Americas, conquered by conquistadors from Spain. Think of a house that still is inhabited by the direct descendants of that conquistadors. That conquistador, right? Here you can see Mr. Gonzalo de Aliaga Ascenso. And you can see an amazing similarity between the descendant and the conquistador. Here behind, the painting of his ancestor, conquistador Jerónimo de Aliaga. This man is nowadays also the owner of the house, resident of the house, and he is always happy to receive visitors because he decided to share his house with visitors from around the world and open it to you all. Here are some images about the moment when Pizarro was murdered. Francisco Pizarro was murdered in his house few years after he established Lima. He established Lima in the year 1535 and was murdered in 1541 in that place where nowadays is the house of the president of Peru. So Pizarro was murdered by Spanish conquistadors. And this is because of all of the disputes generated by the wealth, the enormous wealth that the land of the Incas produced. So there were lots of fights between these Spaniards. So when Pizarro died, just after 6 years of coming to Lima and establishing Lima, Mr. Jerónimo de Aliaga y Ramirez became the leader of the city for a time, right? So just to give you an idea of the status of these men. Another important detail, I'm sorry, I forgot my pen to point out. I will be using my finger, but I have a pen that I usually use. So the symbol you can see over here is the symbol of the letters of one of the Aliaga descendants that used to live in that house. We have the J.A.P., Juan de Aliaga de la Puente, one of the descendants of the Aliaga family who restored completely the house in the 19th century. The classic balconies and the door show also the status of the family, because not common person could have a house which has with such characteristics. So here you can see a recreation of the plaza, the main square of Lima, in an early stage, let's say around the 17th century. You can see the plaza, the main square, with no parks, and because now we have a beautiful garden here. It used to be just an open plaza where there was a market there, as most of the plazas back in the old days. This is the house of the viceroys. Over here we have the cathedral. And where would be the house of Mr. Aliaga? It would be next in this location. Just to give you an idea of the closeness of this house with the house of the presidents of Peru, former house of the viceroys, and house of Very Pizarro. So when we get deeper into the house, once the doors are open and we can see a beautiful staircase, the staircases, by the way, like the one you are seeing here, were only granted to the descendants of conquistadors. When you were able to get into a colonial house and see a staircase running right in front of the main entrance, that meant that was a house of conquistador. right? If the staircases were on the right, that meant it was a person of the nobility. And if the staircase was on the left, it meant that it was a wealthy person, but not nobility, right? Most of the wood in the house, you will see the external section, the wooden balconies. These are Republican balconies, by the way. Beautiful balconies enclosed with the Spanish influence, the Moorish influence. Most of the wood also of the doors, in particular this one at the entrance, came from Central America. They were not local woods. There you can see the letters of Juan de Aliaga de la Puente, as I said before, one of the most prosperous descendants of Jerónimo de Aliaga. Central America was the source of the wood of Peru because Lima, the city of Lima, was located on a desert. And most of the constructions made in Lima were made with wood, with a combination of wood and also mud bricks. But this wood had to be strong and it had to be from a place where rained more. So that's why this wood came from Panama and Nicaragua. So the entrance after the staircase that takes us directly to a second floor. You've noticed possibly that we are really going to the second floor to see the house. The house is not on the level of the ground, of the soil of the city. And remember, keep this in mind, that many of the investigations on accounts, on colonial accounts, mention that there where nowadays we have the house of Aliaga, there used to be a temple or sort of like a palace, a house, a construction that was elevated, and the construction was used as a platform for the house. That's why the house is elevated, is on a second floor, right? So all of these details that I'm mentioning are, of course, the pride of the house. The elements that we're going to see, like, for example, the windows or the elements, the decorative elements like this, for example, Columbus. This is, by the way, Christopher Columbus, and we can understand why, right? The connection with Spain, the conquistadors, the pride of the conquistadors was the idea also of discovering a new world, conquering a new world. That's why the house has this symbol at the entrance. So this entrance, this sort of like a small, simple entrance, give us the chance of getting deeper and deeper into the house. The house in this moment, or the size of the extension, is really very small in comparison to how big it used to be. About 2,500 square meters was the original size of the house. And the house in this moment has about 30 bedrooms, right? So it's a big house. Not all of it is open to the public, to the visitors. But as you can see, there are visitors coming to some sections. This is the receiver, the place where the visitors were first received. And there are also interesting elements, like, for example, these Rococo frames of doors, or Limenian colonial Baroque, Limenian Baroque art. Always very religious, focus in the representation of the Holy Family, for example, in saints, in the Virgin Mary. It's such an, of course, a deluxe opportunity to have the very descendant of Jerónimo de Aliaga, Mr. Gonzalo de Aliaga, a little bit sort of like co-conducting this documentary. So, for example, this piece of furnishing you are seeing here, you can see clearly the name Aliaga, that's the last name of the family, was really what we say a baúl. Is a big box, very, very big, that used to keep the sort of like the swords, for example, all the elements that were used in the war by the conquistador Jerónimo de Aliaga. Oh, so these were very, very big boxes of wood. And all of this box, by the way, is in the bottom. And here, oh, this is really interesting. This is the coat of arms of the family. This was the coat of arms granted to Mr. Jerónimo de Aliaga. And I want to share with you, I will do a little stop here, because I want to share with you the coat of arms in full color, right? So this is the coat of arms of Aliaga, of Jerónimo de Aliaga and the descendants. We can see here, and let's focus in this one because it's a little bit more colorful, right? We can see, for example, first of all, a castle. What does the castle means in this symbol? It means the nobility, it means the strength, the virility, the idea of the most elevated nobility, let's say. The next element in the coat of arms, maybe I will do a little zoom for you if you would like me to. So let me also do this here. Sorry. So what we are seeing here in the coat of arms are lions also. What are the lions representing? The lions represent courage or strength, right? And the last section, the lower section, the sheep represent, of course, the trip to the new world. And it was also an element given in the coat of arms or granted in the coat of arms of conquistadors, right? So we're going now to go backwards in the zoom, and we're going to continue with this video. So here we are, right? So here you can see a little bit of the explanation of the coat of arms. So as I was saying, hard to understand you. Oh, Barbara, I'm so sorry. Let me try to make a little stop here. Barbara, can you hear me? Or it is just for my accent, you cannot understand me, Barbara. And by the way, I'm sorry if my accent is disturbing. It is, I am Peruvian, by the way. Just let me know, my friends, if you're able to hear me, if you're able to see me, or see the video I am projecting. So in that way, I can continue going with this explanation. Okay. Adrian, everything good? Okay. Oh, gracias. Oh, gracias. Thank you very much. Thank you. Volume is good. Your accent is not difficult. Oh, gracias, John. I try to do my very best to have an accent that is a little bit more neutral. But keep in mind that I am from Peru, so my English is not always perfect. So thank you, Barbara. I really hope that it is just the volume. Maybe you can, let's say, come back to the video, leave, and then come back. Maybe it's just to refresh. The only way you can fix a little bit of this issue. Gracias, Susan. Thank you. So, well, I like to keep my accent because in that way you will not forget I am Peruvian. So, here, well, you can see a little bit more of this space, this entrance hall. But after the entrance hall, look at the Rococo doorways also. The Rococo doorways are really nice, right? Rococo style, the Baroque style, the eclectic style are styles you will see in the house. A lot of French influence as well later. Gracias, Francis. Thank you. So, then after the entrance, as we keep going deeper and deeper, we get into the sort of like the office of the house. And the office section that was is considered, by the way, one of the oldest rooms within the house, has one interesting detail that is really everywhere in the room. Tiles. You can see the tiles here, right? These tiles are original Spanish civilian tiles. They are from Seville. And these tiles are from the beginnings of the 17th century. And let's also try to make a little stop here, right? Because look at them. They were made by hand. They are also known as the oldest tiles we have in Lima, the ones of the House of Aliaga. In other houses in Lima, we do have colonial tiles. We have Spanish tiles from the same period, from the, let's say, 1620s or 1640s. But the ones in this house are from the 1608, 1606. So they are considered to be the oldest in the historic center of Lima. Here, by the way, you can see the sword of Mr. Jerónimo de Aliaga, the conquistador. And by the way, one of the curiosities that Mr. Aliaga, Gonzalo de Aliaga mentions here is that the curiosity is that the Spanish used to use iron from Germany and the Germans iron from Spain. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is a really curious thing that he also shares in this documentary. We have, for example, furnishing in the house brought from Philippines. For example, this box you see over here is originally from the Philippines. We have also more colonial painting, more elegant furnishing. The saints, Saint Peter and Saint Paul, which are on the sides of the painting of Mr. Jerónimo de Aliaga, right? So this section, as I was saying, is the oldest of the house. The tiles give you an idea of how old this part is. But this is not the only section we can see within the house. The next section is a more, let's say, luxurious part, which we're going to see in a little while. Is the section of the parties, the social events, which is the one you are seeing here. It's right next to that office. And probably also the big inspiration of this section of the house was, for example, Versailles, right? Versailles. It is not the only case in Lima of a hall, of a main hall with the Versailles style. The Golden Room of Versailles, or also I know it is called the Room of the Mirrors, was a big inspiration for families in Lima that were so rich that could afford that lifestyle. Even there is a room called the Golden Room in the house of the President of Peru, the Salón Dorado. I am planning also soon to show you in another documentary how is the house of the President of Peru inside. So in here, for example, the conductor of this documentary asked Mr. Aliaga, Mr. Gonzalo de Aliaga, how has been living in a house with this much history, right? And he said, well, he's tremendously honored, of course, to know that many historic events had happened in his house. And also that in this house, we can see the evolution of the architecture of Lima in one place, right? From colonial to contemporary. So we have the evolution of the houses of Lima from the 16th century to the 20th century. That is the way how the external part, the avenue in front of the house looks like. That is, by the way, the Calle Palacio. The old name of that street is Calle Palacio, Palace, for the Palace of the President, which is right in front. Also, the family owns stores in the first floor. It is the tradition that all the houses back in the old days were sustained also with the rents of stores in the first floor. this is another section of the house. You can see a little bit more, like we get deeper and deeper into the house. And by the way, the furnishing is Louis XVI style. We have frames of the mirrors covered in gold leaf, right? Cedar wood from Central America. And that is the little patio of the house. There is a patio that we know was connected with the pre-Hispanic palace that we had here. So all of this circuit is open to the visitors, by the way. They come with tour guides inside this museum. And later, in a moment, I will share with you the official website of this house, just if you want to get a little bit more information about the house, right? So we're going to do a little, let's say, jump of this break in the video. And we have another part that we will see in a moment. Remember that all of those tiles are original. The house, by the way, is on rent for weddings, for private events as well. So that's also the way how the museum can continue existing, because this is the only house in the Americas that still is occupied by the same family of conquistadors or descendants of conquistadors. 17 generations of the same family have lived in this house. The last person in charge, the 17th generation, is Mr. Gonzalo de Aliaga. But how a family like this one keeps the name Aliaga in front? Because sometimes we have families that, for example, there are no male heirs. No, we have just female heirs. And the female heirs, at least in this part of the world, they always, when they get married, their children will have the last name of the husband, of the spouse. The system of mayorazgo is the name in Spanish. Mayorazgo comes from mayor, or the main, has made possible that the last name Aliaga have more weight over other last names. Meaning that, for example, if I am Vanessa Aliaga and I get married with Juan Gonzalez, my children will not be Gonzalez Aliaga, will be Aliaga Gonzalez. Always the name of the family Aliaga will go in front. This is the system of the mayorazgo. Thank you, Bernhard, for your help, for your tip support. Gracias, amigo. And here you can see also in one of the mirrors in the golden room of the house, maybe you recognize this figure, Marie Antoinette. Oh, sorry, I'm going to make zoom. Maria Antonietta. So we're going to play. All of these paintings are paintings of the descendants of the Aliaga, important Aliaga, let's say, men of the house. This stove you see here won a prize in Paris. They were able to afford, of course, to buy this stove for the center, for putting it on the center of the room on the winter evenings of Lima. And the detail of it is that it has the zodiac signs on top. So this is what the descendant Aliaga is explaining here. So they have Japanese, let's say, porcelain. They have this stove, winner of a prize in France. They have lots of beautiful furnishing. These are the Japanese jars also, which were, he said, a present from the Japanese emperor to the Aliaga family. In one occasion, they were official representatives of Peru as ambassadors, right? So we are now also getting to see another section of the house. We have only one bedroom open to the public, by the way. And the bedroom also shows a traditional bed, that is the one you can see over there, a colonial style bed, and all the furnishing that you can see within, or you could see within the colonial houses of Lima in the period of the 16th, 17th, 18th century. This house was a private house until the 1970s. The family Aliaga decided to open it as a museum to receive visitors, not because of lack of money, my friends. They are indeed very wealthy. They are even counts. They have a noble title, the Counts of Lurigancho, and they have lands, and they are in various businesses. But they opened it because they wanted to share with the world the house. They consider it very precious and special. Right? Some recreations of the fashion of the colonial times in Lima. And this patio you see over here has a ficus that is very old. It is 400 years old ficus. This corridor goes in direction to the dining room, which has a really, really rich work of carved wood on the ceiling. The style, how these carved pieces were put together is called the tongue and groove technique. The tongue and groove technique was introduced by the Spaniards and was only seen generally in churches, monasteries, and in really rare cases, in private homes. You just had to be very rich to afford something like this. By the way, tourists are able to dine in this house. You can even see sometimes they can meet the very descendant, Mr. Gonzalo de Aliaga. They are able to eat on the dining room, and also the museum offers a special menu course of traditional colonial dishes that will give you a complete experience of how was life in the old days. This is the old ficus. Below there is located the cellar of the house, the door you saw over there. And also you can see a curiosity. The floor is cobblestone, but there are some also next to the cobblestone, some clearly distinguishable bones, animal bones that were put next to the cobblestone to be sort of let's say, make more resistant the floor. That was the purpose of this combination. And you can see also here this detail. I don't know if we are going to be able to see it again. I think if not, we can. Okay, yes. Here it is. Can you see the bones, my friends? These are animal bones that were put to make sort of like more like sort of like a cushion. The soil, especially for animals if they had to circulate in the city. And that also gave more resistance to the floor. That is an interesting element that, of course, it has been lost over time. Hi, Mel. Thanks for coming. Gracias. So it's a tradition that is long gone, right, from the colonial times. Remember that in the old days, horses and carriages used to pass in the city of Lima. And this stone you see here is a stone that was used to filter water, to filter the water to make it drinkable. Once again, J.A.P., Juan de Aliaga de la Puente, right? The descendant of the Aliagas who restored the house. And he lived in the 19th century. Thank you, John. Muchas gracias. And finally, the last room we're going to see here is the chapel. Not many houses in the colonial times had a chapel inside. And this was very special. But also another important thing is that this chapel has a papal bull that permits it to host weddings, baptizes, and well, all kinds of important events that a regular church will. We know that Saint Rose of Lima and Saint Martin of Porres visited this house. If you don't know who they are official Peruvian saints. And both of them were Dominican saints, Dominican monks. So that's why we know, because of the connection, the close connection between the Aliaga family and the Dominican order, that, well, the family was also close to these saints. They came to pray in this chapel, and many devoted to these saints come to this chapel, especially to pray even nowadays, right? So I hope you were able to enjoy a little bit of this documentary that I was trying to share with you, with the intention of explaining one of the many museums of Lima, one of the many places that you can see in my city. And before we come to the end of the event, I have some things to share. For example, the website. Would you like to see the website of the house? Just briefly. So here you have, first of all, the name of the documentary. It is all in Spanish. If you want to practice your Spanish, look for this documentary in YouTube. It was made by a Peruvian channel, a Peruvian TV program from the program TV channel number 7. The program is Museums Open Doors, Museos Puertas Abiertas. But here, I want to share with you the website of the house. Oh, gracias, Adrian. Thank you. I mean, I was knocking doors for long to take you into museums. Not every museum is ready for virtuality. So I thought this could be an alternative for us all to learn more about museums in Lima. And this site, this museum, gracias, Berna, thank you. It has a website, which you can see over here, casadealiaga.com in the upper part. And you can choose English. Also, there's a Spanish, right? But of course, you will choose English in the upper part. And I want to share with you something interesting. So, Casa de Aliaga, look at this. If we click Casa de Aliaga, something will come that you will like. So, in Casa de Aliaga description, you have a general description, a small, but here, I think you cannot see it here. Okay, let me show it. You have download PDF. Okay, if you download PDF, you will have the chance of seeing this. A document with the history of the house in English, my friends. If you want to learn the history of the house, have a really nice lecture, read it like in your language, you can download it for free, my friends. Most people don't know this, but well, this is my little gift to you all if you are interested in colonial history of Lima. Also, my dear friends, if you would like to follow me, this is my Heigo channel. I am very close to 1,000 followers. So I hope I am able to reach 1,000. That would be lovely. I know numbers are really not, mean a lot, but it will be very special for me to be able to make it to 1,000. So thank you, Mel. Thank you so much. And also soon, I will be doing, tomorrow, I will be doing another event from home. This is also with another documentary. It's about an archaeological site. You are all invited to this event tomorrow. And I will be talking about an archaeological site using also a documentary. So, but I will be explaining, of course, all like today. Also, let me share with you my information. My little company is called Adventurous Travel. If you are coming to Lima, please contact me. I would love to be your tour guide. I offer in-person tours in Lima. So here you have all my information, and also my Heygo information is there. Gracias, Francie. Thank you, thank you. It is always a pleasure to be your guide. And now I will turn on the light because I turn it off for not distracting you with the light in front. Thank you so much for visiting Lima, for staying with me this a little bit more than half an hour. I planned to be short, but it still was a little bit long. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned something about Lima, something new. We have fantastic museums, and I will do my very best to show you the true Lima in every occasion, outdoors, indoors. Just let me know what you would like to see. I am open to any recommendation that you have for me in terms of themes, of sites. Just let me know it. You have a comment section at the end of this tour. You're going to be able to receive, let's say, a page where in your could be your emails to comment about this tour. If you like it, let me know it, please, because in that way I can continue doing these events from home. Muchas gracias, amigos. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for visiting Lima again. Best to you all. Love from Lima, from your tour guide, Vanessa. Have a lovely time and hope to see you tomorrow. Take care. Take care. Muchas gracias. Oh, Bernhard, what a great question. How do I feel about the Conquista? Well, let me tell you something, my friends, in general. As a tour guide, I learned, first of all, to understand the historic events that had happened in my country and in the world in a very sort of like impartial way. I don't trust in pink legends or black legends. We humans are good and evil at the same time. That's part of ourselves. So the Conquista, the Spanish conquest, in my opinion, although it was awful, it was horrendous, and so many people were killed and lots of my indigenous culture died, we Peruvians sort of like enrich our background, our culture with the Spanish influence as well. For example, the world now is talking about the Peruvian cuisine. And the only reason Peruvian cuisine is that amazing is because of all of these elements that are coming from all over the world. That first the Spaniards introduced, and later, well, other cultures were introduced too when they came to Peru. We don't speak anymore Quechua, we speak Spanish. Most Peruvians are Catholic. I am not, but most Peruvians are Catholic. And that's also because of the Spanish influence. So at the end, we are a rich country with lots of different influences. The conquest was really bad. I don't have good words for the conquest. But the resulting is who we are, right? And it's important to heal wounds, these issues that for long we have carried. What I don't really agree is discrimination, because every part of our culture is very rich, and every different ethnicity is wonderful, is unique, and we have to respect it all, right? So, well, this is a little bit of my opinion about the conquest and about who we are in this moment. Well, thank you so much for your question, Berhad. Thank you, Susan. Gracias. And if you're able also to support this channel with a tip, as you know already, these are free tours, free to join, just tip supported. That would be super. I know it's not always possible, but if you can, that would be amazing. It will help me a lot to continue doing these events. I just activated a button that will help you know where you can donate. These are sort of like pay as you wish tours. So thanks a lot for your support in advance. Have a lovely time. Best to you all. And see you tomorrow, I hope. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Ciao.